artists, like, who's going to sound good on this beat, who's going to sound good on this beat, and not just like on the beat, but he got like other artists to complement other artists, like artists that have never even met each other in real life, but he knew they would sound good together on the track that he was working on. And so like he was like the Dr. Dre of the mixtape circuit. It's like an honor and a privilege if K Slay reached out to you as an artist. And, I've never met the brother, but like what I got from him from watching his interviews and hearing him speak, you can just really hear that sincerity in his voice. Um, he didn't compromise his integrity for the bag, because I'm pretty sure he could have did a lot more with his art form. I'm pretty sure record labels reached out for him, but he didn't want to do anything to compromise what his essence, what he wanted to do, his creative vision. He wasn't willing to, compromise his morals. It's like some people would do anything for the bag, and he doesn't strike me as an individual to do and say anything to get the bag. It's like that's my impression of K Slay is like, if he messed with you, he messed with you. If he didn't mess with you, he didn't mess with you. And no amount of money would change it. But everybody doesn't have that type of moralistic integrity. So he will definitely be missed. We're gonna give him a brief moment of silence. R.I.P. K Slay. All right, so now the topic I want to chime in on is Tisha Arnold's most recent comment on Twitter. And her comment was, honest question, how can we as black women in America, or what can we as black women in America do to stop aiding in the emasculation of black men in America? And it was really just an open-ended question. She was talking to black women, but, everybody chiming in, and men started chiming in, which is crazy because the question was, specifically, what can we do as black women? So I was confused when I was reading the male comments. And my mindset is like, why is it so, when did it become wrong to be a heterosexual black man? When did it become wrong to be morally wrong? Like people are morally offended about, the notion of a heterosexual black man. Like they want to say toxic masculinity. Why is it toxic to be masculine? Like, what's wrong with that? And then the bigger question is like, so like every time a sister goes up to bat for a brother, she gets criticized. And then vice versa, when a black man speaks up for a black woman, he gets drugged. It's like we got all these outside forces trying to rip us apart. And, the essence of our, melanin, everybody talks about melanin. I think our core being resides in the black man and the black woman being together. Like that's our superpower. The black man and the black woman's unity. to like really just see a black man love a black woman. Like, have you ever seen it? Like, really, really, really seen a black man and a black woman in love with each other? Like, does that register? Like, that speaks so many layers to see black love, and we're not, again, to align with my platform, changing the narrative, we're not seeing the images of black love in the media. We're always seeing us in these dysfunctional relationships where the guy is sitting up there calling the woman out of her name. She's getting all up in his face, throwing stuff, acting unladylike. That's the images we keep seeing, which goes back all the way to her question, is what can we do as women to stop the emasculation of black men? And that can mean so much more than just what she tweeted. Because, like, one thing y'all can do to stop emasculating the black man is stop cutting them down all the time. Like, because some of y'all want a brother to be perfect when you meet him. If he's already perfect when you meet him, then what's the end goal? If he already has 6 figures, if he already has, education, 6 figures, it's like, actually, what does he need you for if he got all that when you meet him? We're letting money divide us. We're letting education divide us. We're letting religion divide us. We're letting opinions, like differences of opinion, divide us. We're letting class divide us. We're letting cultural upbringing divide us. Because the way I was raised might be different from the way you was raised. It's like we're letting things divide us that's like not necessarily right, but then not necessarily wrong either. But the interesting thing is, like, why is a woman persecuted every time she goes up to bat for a black man? Why is it morally wrong for a black woman to defend a black man? You see, it's almost like an agenda to keep black men and men and women separated, because it's almost like they're pushing. To me, I might be looking a little too deep. I might be reaching, but to me, it seems like they're pushing interracial relations, interracial dating, and I'm not picking on anybody that's in the interracial relationship right now. I'm not picking on nobody that is a product of an interracial relationship, because I have in my family with I would say almost 75% of my family is like products of interracial dating and marriage. Like, I got a lot of biracial cousins, a whole lot. So, like, I want to put that in the atmosphere. Like, I don't care, like, what color a person is, as long as they love you and they treat you right, and, they compliment you and, inspire you to be better, then I don't got nothing to say about that. But, this visual agenda is like, I keep on looking up at flyers and watching these television shows and, seeing this sister that got herself together, but she's with a white man. Like, I don't understand why it's, why people get morally offended about the notion of a heterosexual black man. Like, why, how does, like, heterosexual black men get demonized. Like, why are we the enemy? Why are we in the crosshairs? Like, why y'all okay with a man period, wearing a dress? That's okay now. Just to further illustrate my point, some public figures that we got, some beloved public figures. Prince, he wore high heels, pumps and high heels, and like blouses and eyeliner. But he was straight. He liked women. He was a heterosexual black man, but he dressed really effeminate to cross over to get that mega stardom. Little Richard, one of his most famous interviews in the 80s was I think he was on Letterman. He told, in his interview on Letterman, he has children and grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. On his deathbed, like 90 years old, he said, he finally realized that was a sin and he was living in sin and, whatever. But in his Letterman interview, he basically said the reason why he dressed like that. He said, because, in those times, there was really racist and, these little underage Caucasian girls was getting up on the stage, throwing themselves at him, throwing panties and bras up on the stage and, offering him, what they're offering to him. So he had to, counterbalance that by wearing eyeliner, by not, being physically not having a menacing appearance. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, why is a heterosexual black man so menacing in America? Why do we have that menacing reputation? Like, it's wrong to be just a just upright heterosexual black man. Like, why don't you want to teach your sons to be heterosexual black men? It's like we're so, pushing other agendas. We're so like wrapped up in, well, if my son's gay, I'm going to support him and I'm going to love him and I'm gonna be a good parent and he's mine and I don't care what his gender is. Cool. That's cool. But then also support your heterosexual son. They need love too. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like we become offended by the notion of heterosexual black men. Like, heterosexual black men is now public enemy number one. And every time a heterosexual black man says something, especially in Hollywood, all these groups come after them for just being a heterosexual male, saying heterosexual male stuff. You offended me. You offended me. I don't know, that's how they sound in my head, all these little groups that complain. You made me feel bad. But again, so I'm not picking on the homosexual community. I'm not picking on Caucasian people, people in biracial relationships, products of biracial relationships, like biracial people. I'm not picking on y'all. I got like tons of relatives that are biracial. I'm just saying, like, You gotta call a spade a spade. Like, how you gonna get offended